Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Thursday, the 25th of May. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm joined once again by Stevie Clifford, fresh from Ibrox last night. How are we doing, Stevie?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. I think it's going to be a nice day today. So it's still a bit overcast, but usual weather report, Derek. It's a pleasant dog walk this morning. All good. It wasn't the greatest game last night, I've got to be honest, but kind of summed up our season nicely. I'm sure we'll discuss it as we go on.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we do that, folks, this is your last chance to take advantage of that yearly offer we've got on the website just now, just £12 for 12 months worth of exclusive access. You'll get opinion pieces on there, big feature articles, big interviews, tactical analysis that you won't find anywhere else. Stevie writes a column for us every week. There's actually a great piece from him on the website this morning that I'd urge you to all go and check it out. So now is a last chance. It ends at midnight tonight. There's also a 4 months offer for £4. Now, as you're well aware, if you sign up to the Rangers Review now for these two offers that we have at the moment, you'll be entered into that draw for lunch for 3 people at the Blue Sky Lounge restaurant at Ibrox on the 3rd of June, which is a Saturday. This Saturday coming up, if I'm not no, it's not this. Is it this Saturday? No, it's not. It's a week on Saturday.
You sure?
No, I'm doubting myself here. It's with a club legend as well. So a club legend will be sat next to you eating wonderful cuisine, I'm sure. So now is the time to get involved, folks. Head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe to sign up. And a quick word for our podcast sponsors. Seneca Hair Restoration are back supporting the podcast, which is fantastic to see. They are the top dogs when it comes to hair restoration, hair transplants, and the likes. So just head over to all the, if you want to head over to the website, I've put the all important links in the description box for you if that is something you are thinking of. Right, well, lots of Rangers news to get our teeth stuck into, Stevie. Of course, it was the final home game of the season last night, a bit of an emotional one, in all honesty, as Rangers said goodbye to Ryan Kent, Alfredo Morelos, Alan McGregor, Scott Arfield, and Phil Hollander. The game itself wasn't the best, it's fair to say. Very much an end-of-season feel to it. Lawrence Shankland prodding the ball home from close range after a minute. Rangers equalised 3 minutes into first half stoppage time. A great goal from Todd Cantwell. He raced clear after being set up by Alfredo Morelos, and a cool finish into the back of the net. You're going to tell us about his impressive stats shortly. Fashion Sakala scored a very Fashion Sakala goal at the start of the second half, and it looked like that was going to be how it would finish. Rangers winning 2-1 until a bit of a defensive calamity deep into stoppage time. The last kick of the ball, and Hearts equalised to make it 2-2 before the farewells to the 5 players that are departing in the summer. Stevie, what were your big takeaways from the game?
Not a lot, to be honest. Look, it's end of the season. You know, I think we were all kind of glad that it's over. I don't want to come on here and slate everybody. It meant absolutely nothing, but it's kind of indicative of how it's went. You know, a really poor goal lost within a minute. They come at us and we're just not set. We're not ready. The goal itself was a total calamity. The goalie doesn't come. Tavernier heads it straight back into danger really poorly. And then it's kind of bundled over the line. They do get themselves back into it eventually. Cantwell scores a great equaliser, and then they go ahead, and they should have put it out of sight. There were so many missed chances, and there were so many moments where I thought they should have done better, and then they concede a really horrible goal in the last minute. And there wasn't any standout performers. There wasn't any, big moments or things we can really point at. I think it confirmed a couple of things. And that we know that, look, the first goal, the goalie's got to come and get that. James Tavernier doesn't need to head it back. There's no communication there. So he needs to either let it go past him or the goalie comes and takes it. But heading it straight back out to the boy the way he did, So there's a calamity of errors in there. The second goal we conceded, Ryan Jack gives it away in the midfield and then ends up giving it back to the boy in the box. John Lundstrom maybe gets turned. So there wasn't, honestly, Derek, aside of Todd Cantwell showed up again, played really well, scored a cracking finish. The boys excellently. He really is a player. Yeah. 17 games, 6 goals, 5 assists. We're talking about goal involvements 1 in 3 kind of ratio. He's absolutely tremendous. But there's a frustration from me last night that kind of just sums up the whole season. It means nothing. I know that it means nothing. I get that, but I still want to win. And being a minute from the end, we should be seeing that out quite comfortably. But there's a part of me as well that's also glad that the season's over. We've waited a long time for the summer and stuff like that. Or the Ibrox season's over, Derek. There's still Saturday to come, obviously. But it was a nice farewell for the players. I thought fans were incredible last night. The send-off for all the players was absolutely brilliant. So I was delighted to see that. And they all deserve it. But it is, I think you could see by a few of them last night, it is time for them to go. But I don't want to sit here and be too overly critical. It was an end of the season game, etc. But there's a few, Derek, in that team out with the boys that are leaving. And I'm looking at like Glenn Kamara. I wanted to see something from him last night, and he's a complete shadow of the player he once was. I think it's really imperative that we get guys like that moved on and freshen this up, because there was a real stickiness about his performance. He's not, I actually watched Nico Raskin make a pass, give it away when Glenn Kamara should have got it, and then end up chasing his own pass to get it back when Glenn Kamara in the middle of that was standing still. So it's not a picking on Glenn Kamara thing. It's just when I looked at it last night, the enthusiasm. I think he does. Like, the enthusiasm from him is gone, and I think it's really imperative that we move these guys on in the summer and make sure that kind of freshness goes. I thought the best performers in the pack were John Lundstrom and John Suter. So aside of that, Todd Cantwell was Todd Cantwell. He's excellent.
Yeah, guys,
so we can't take that for granted. But aside of that, Derek, I don't think there was too much there that you really could have. I'm really disappointed we didn't get the 3 points, just because
it's Rangers.
I want to win. Yeah, I want to win.
It would be a nice ending to the game as well, wouldn't it?
But that aside, it was a next to nothing game.
Yeah, lots of comments coming in, folks. Just incidentally, before we talk more about the game last night, there's an interview I did with Chris Reeve from the Talk Norwich City podcast. If you want to learn more about Kieran Dowell, who of course was announced just prior to the game last night, then do go and check it out. And Magic Man 147 has very kindly donated a $5 to the channel. Thanks very much, buddy. And he's put a comment in here. He's not too enamoured by said signing. With Dill's injury history, we should be nowhere near him. Have we learned nothing from signing the likes of Roof, Suter and Hollander? Madness, he says. He has been plagued with a couple of lengthy injuries, Kieran Dowell. I've been told that has hampered his progress at Norwich City. Chris was very good in telling me just how his time has went there at Carrow Road. It's concerning, Stevie. I've got to admit, as we touched on yesterday, I have seen him in action for Wigan Athletic, and he was brilliant. Scored a hat trick in that 8-0 win against Hull City. In flashes, he showed it at Carrow Road, but the injury record is something that fans will be concerned about, won't they?
Yeah, but the big difference from Roof and Hollander is that you're not paying £4 million for this boy. So it's a fairly low risk, Derek, signing. I understand it. I completely understand it. But I also don't think that he's going to be first choice week in, week out. I don't think that's... we bought Hollander and Roof to play in that team every week. That's the big difference. I'm not sure we've done that with Dowell. I think we picked up somebody that, again, needs to rise to the challenge. He's got points to prove. He can play. He's a bit of a hybrid. We discussed this yesterday. He can play in multiple positions across the front and in the middle. So we've just got to get on with it and just see how he copes. He's a left footer. Michael Beale spoke about that last night. He really likes a left-sided one. He said he's watched him a lot since Everton when he was a boy. And I get the concerns, genuinely, I get the concerns from everybody that the injury record and things like that. But see, for me, Derek, I genuinely think that it's just a case of we give him a chance and we see how it goes. He's got a 3-year contract. And I think there's a big difference in his injury history. See, when we signed John Souttar, I think he had 3 Achilles injuries by the time we seen him, and he's now been fit 4 or 5 months. He's been very unfortunate. I think he broke his ankle in the West Ham game. If I remember what he said in the press conference, he broke his ankle, or he broke his foot, one of the two. So that's just something you can't really account for. A bit like Connor Goldson breaking his metatarsal and stuff in the game last week. You can't really count on that happening. That's not, that's just unfortunate part of football. So I think John Souttar's been a wee bit lucky, but largely we've managed to keep him fit the last 5 months or so. So I'm hoping that Dowell will come in and he just, with a good pre-season behind him, a new fresh challenge. A lot of it sometimes as well, Derek, and I'm not a professional footballer, although I should be. I was harshly treated as a boy, but that's another story. It wasn't really. Sometimes, Derek, I wonder if it could just be these guys need a fresh new challenge. Is it in their head? Are they really up for it? Are they really fighting for first team football and stuff like that? You look at Todd Cantwell, who had a few niggly things, and there was apparent issues over him as well when he was coming here. He's been like a breath of fresh air because he needs that challenge. He wants to be loved. He wants to be the centre of attention. So it's there for Dowell as well. So I am concerned and I get it, but I'm prepared to give this one a chance and see where it goes. I've spent a long enough time wanting change, so it would be, I don't know, it'd be a bit harsh when the change is here not to embrace it and look forward to it. So it's Michael Beale's call. Yeah, he's obviously the one that's pushed this, so let's see where it takes us. I happen to think Michael Beale's got quite a good eye for a player, so let's see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. He signed a 3-year deal, folks. He'll join up with his teammates on the 1st of July. Now, you can tell this show's live. My window cleaner is turned up and my Akita is out the back. So I'm going to have to go and rescue him from the back gardens to allow my window cleaner to come in and clean my back windows. Stephen Gillespie says Dale's Ofsky sun time. Yeah, that was at the front window there, so just having a little interaction with him just to warn him that he's out the back. So, Stevie, I'm just going to direct a question to you. Lots of questions coming in, and I'll go and bring my dog in to allow my window cleaner to carry out his job safely and not be mauled to death when he enters my back garden. So interesting comments coming in just regards to the press conference and your questioning to Todd, to Michael Beale, sorry. Alan says, glad you asked a question about Cantwell's treatment, Stevie. Needs calling out, of course, and we've seen Todd posting that image on his Instagram last night, of course, in reaction to Chris Sutton saying he goes down too easily. And he showed a bit of a scar on his thigh, Stevie. So that was an interesting question that you brought with Michael Beale, and a very interesting response as well.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely. Derek, you can leave me with this. Go and do your thing, and I'll kind of...
We'll be back in a minute, folks. You can tell it's live.
So in answer to that question, the reason I asked it was because I just felt that, I don't know how anybody else felt watching the game last night, but I felt that Todd Cantwell got some pretty rough treatment. I think there was a tackle maybe in the first 5 minutes from their centre half, just by the touchline where the dugout is. And he went right, it looked to me, I've not seen it back, folks, but it looked to me like he went right through and wrapped his legs round him as well. And I looked at it and I said to the guys next to him, I said, Davey and stuff in the gantry, I said, if he's doing that, he's getting a caution straight away, and he didn't get it. And then I thought that Devlin and the other midfielders just basically they kicked him every time he was on the ball. They blocked him, they kicked him. And I watched it, and a lot of the time Beaton was just ignoring it. And I thought that John Beaton last night, I said this last night as well in the podcast in the Heart and Hand on the way home, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating if people have double heard this, but I thought that John Beaton last night picked his moments wrong when he books McGregor, when he books Stephen Naismith for him, for doing, a wee bit of descent or kicking the ball back on or whatever it was, but then he lets tackles like that go and he lets the treatment go in the park. I think that's really poor refereeing. It's not something I want to do, get into too much when we're starting going on about referees and stuff like that. But yeah, I just thought it was an extremely poor performance by John Beaton. He offered no protection. Cantwell took a lot of kicks, a lot of barges and stuff like that. Now, when we talk about the question last night to Beale, what I asked him was, and it was a difficult one to try and get out, Derek, and not sound like paranoid and stuff like that. But in the last couple of days, we've seen certain, shock jock kind of commentators saying that he's a cheat and he's a diver and stuff like that. Yeah. And we're very quickly seeing a narrative getting targeted around him. Now, it's no surprise, like they did to Alfredo, that any sign of somebody that, hold on a minute, this boy might just be the real deal, this boy might just be good, he might be a threat to us, they've started to ramp that up. So my question to Michael Beale last night was, is he concerned about that? Because we're concerned about it as a fan base. You can quickly see that happening. I thought that Michael Beale's answer was fantastic. I thought it was very spot on. It was interesting because you don't often see Michael Beale become angry, and you actually seen it last night when he answered. He took a minute, he looked down, and he looked up, and he said quite firmly, we know where it's all coming from, don't we? And we do. And he then went on to say, I thought he brilliantly called up the comparison with Alfredo and basically said, we've seen it happening to Alfredo. Yeah. And this is history repeating itself all over again. I've seen a lot of people say, it's now time to call it out as a club. I think we have called it out. I think that Michael Beale's comments last night were fantastic on that, and I think he's now made it clear. I've not read the papers today, but I'm sure that'll make headlines and everything.
Yeah.
So I was quite happy with that, and it's just, sometimes pressers and stuff, Derek, you've been in 100 and stuff like that. Sometimes, we can ask the mundane stuff, what was the atmosphere like? What do you think about the fans and stuff like that? But other times I think there's pressing stuff that needs to be asked, even if it, I'm maybe not, folks, the best person to kind of get it over, Derek. Does that make sense? Sometimes people can ask it a bit sharper and do that kind of thing. But from a fan media point of view, I think it's important we try and ask these kind of questions.
Yeah.
So I was pleased with the response, and I was pleased with how Michael Beale answered it. So it's definitely something, Derek, I think that everybody can acknowledge. I think it's an issue, Rangers, that we have there. I don't know how the PR thing works behind, whether or not they would start saying to the likes of Sky and BBC and stuff, the ones that are allowing this narrative, you can't stop opinion, I get that.
Yeah.
But when it's as clear as what we've had in the last week or so, I don't think it's quite fair. I don't think it would happen to other players in this league, certainly not to other teams. I think it's amazing when you've seen, a certain winger throw himself to the ground on Saturday, as he does every single week, and we don't see any sign of him getting questioned or saying that he's a cheat and stuff like that. But Todd Cantwell gets two hands across his chest when he's breaking and cutting back into the box, and he's a cheat. So It's interesting. It's interesting. But, Derek, we try, Rangers Review, Joshua and stuff like that. We try and get it right, and we try and ask the ones. So I'm glad that people have kind of got good feedback from that. At least I just try and ask what I think people would want to ask. So I just thought that it was relevant, without kind of going on about it too much. I'm prattling on a wee bit, but I think that was relevant. I think we had to highlight it and ask it.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking charge of the show once I dashed off there, Stevie. It resulted in a whole flood of comments. I'm not having this, CGM55. Right, Stevie, dish the dirt on Derek now he's gone. I can see the comments, buddy, so I'm not having that one. Joe Biden's handler, great username, says, Doug's eating the window cleaner and Dell's talking about the famous. Absolutely fantastic. Colin says, ask the window cleaner if he can play up front. Wouldn't be any worse, I think, than the options Rangers have at the moment as well. Kev wanted you to sing a song, Stevie, but I think, well, in terms of songs, but just to hark back on the Kieran Dowell signing, Chris Reeve sent me a song that he sang for Dowell. He actually christened him Dowell-Odinho, which will get the fans a bit excited. And so if you want to see that song, it's on my Twitter account, folks. I'm not entirely sure the Union Bears and the likes will be belting that out, but I'm sure they're quite inventive, so they'll make up their own song. Just on the goal from Cantwell yesterday, Stevie, Alfredo Morelos made a beeline for the Hearts dugout. Al C says, Naismith made a fat belly sign to Alfie. That's what wound him up. You were there at the game. What sparked that? Did you see what happened?
It all started when Naismith kind of punched the ball back onto the pitch, which he was then cautioned for. And then when somebody was getting treatment, Alfie went to pick up the ball and the assistant, I think, booted it away from him as well, which started it. What I love about it, though, is that, Alfie giving him a wee bit of stick back. We know that from Alfie. He's ended up having to get dragged back. But Cantwell was quite funny as well. He's somebody that definitely gets, he likes to get under the opposition skin a wee bit, I think. And when he scored, he was giving him it tight as well. So enjoyed that moment. Stephen Naismith's a very unlikable character anyway. We know the history there. I've got no love lost for him at all. I had to keep myself on warning, shall we say, Derek, when he was in the presser last night. There was a whole side of me wanting to say a few things, but he's not a guy I like. I don't have any time for him. He just kind of summed himself up on the touchline last night. So, no, I don't. I'm glad we gave him a wee bit back. It was a nothing game, but you start doing stuff like that, it's don't start crying when it happens back to you. So I'll miss that wee side of it. That wee bit of needle from Alfie. He's quite funny when he started doing that and stuff. So
I'm going to miss that as well from Alfredo. Just that unpredictability and just absolute madness at times from him. He's like I said, like we've touched on earlier on. For many young Rangers supporters, he's their first ever hero. So I'd imagine there'll be a few disappointed young Bears. You've got two boys as well, Stevie. Is Alfredo someone that they looked up to?
Yeah, you've seen the pictures of the boys and stuff. They both had Morelos in the back of their tops. It's quite funny. I don't know, if people will kind of understand this when I'm saying it and think, that happened with my kids as well. But I never really pushed the boys, Derek, towards Rangers or that. I wanted them to naturally kind of gravitate on their own and take an interest on their own, and that's what they've done. And they just, both of them, it was kind of organic the way it happened. Both of them have went straight towards Alfredo and absolutely love them. So obviously I've had to, over the last couple of months, I've been saying and I've been trying to warn them about who, about Alfredo maybe leaving and explaining them. And the funny thing is, the oldest one, DJ, just said, he's 7, and he just said, does that mean we go and support whoever Alfredo goes to? And I was like, no, that's not quite how it works. So the boys are big Brighton fans. Obviously, they follow the youngster as well, but they've got their Brighton tops and all that. But the boys are Rangers daft, so I'm really glad the way it's going. But they've already picked their new favourites, Derek. The oldest is very much James Tavernier, like his mum.
Okay.
And the youngest, don't know how this has happened, but I think ever since that press conference, the youngster is John Lundstrom, honestly. So I managed to get him a wee picture of John Lundstrom from the stadium the other day, and he absolutely loves it. And so, because I showed him one day, I think it's stuff like the names and stuff like that they kind of gravitate towards. But ever since the wee man started liking John Lundstrom and saying that he's his favourite, he's been brilliant. So maybe that was just what Lunny needed. But no, it's funny the way kids kind of gravitate. They like Scotty Arfield as well, the celebration, the salute and stuff like that. So I sincerely hope that in the summer, the guys arriving. And Michael Beale said something interesting on that as well last night, which we'll come to in a minute. But I think that, it'd be great if we could have some more heroes. Todd Cantwell is one that's really come in. He's already, you think about 17 games, Derek, 6 goals, 5 assists, right, from midfield, somebody that we really missed. And then, Derek, go to just pay me attention. Never mind the window cleaner. I'm here for you, bud. Come on.
Just saying thanks for that, for the fact he's alive, Stevie, which is a weight off my mind.
No, just Todd Cantwell's he's already the poster boy of this club.
Yeah,
when he's been here, 4 months, really. So it's all there for people. Michael Beale showed new signings that, potentially coming into the club, and he's saying, this is what you could become. You give this fan base everything, they'll give you everything. So, no, I think it's all there for the boys that are coming in. Be nice to get a new few heroes. I would really like to see, Derek, I'm really desperate to see a forward that really catches my imagination. Somebody that's capable of rattling in a few goals, and I like to see somebody that really takes that on, tricky, somebody that can finish. That's my big hope. I think we need more than one forward. Interesting, Michael Beale said last night, he said it'll not all be young, fresh faces that are coming in. There'll be a couple of guys with a few grey hairs. I thought that was really interesting. And we've been there before where Michael Beale under Steven Gerrard and stuff have went out and got Jermaine Defoe. I wonder if there's a potential for a forward. And I'm thinking in terms of position, defence is okay. They brought in Gareth McCauley so far before as well at the back. I wonder if we're going to see a type of player like that, potentially that's out of contract, maybe sitting, maybe final few years. Is there somebody out there like that we could potentially attract? So that was interesting. An interesting comment from Beale. And I don't read overly into what Michael Beale says, because I think sometimes he plays the crowd and stuff like that. I think he knows what he's doing. But I found that one interesting. So I'm energized. I'm enthusiastic about this summer ahead, but I'd really like a poster boy forward type player that we can all gravitate to. They'll never have hair as good as Todd Cantwell, but I'm hoping that we get somebody like that. So
yeah, we'll see. Firstly, there's a host of comments coming in. We'll get to as many of them as possible. Firstly, big thanks to Jeep, top guy. He's donated £10 to the channel, so that is very much appreciated, buddy. That is fantastic stuff. Thank you very much for your support. Right, let's get to it. Well, firstly, Billy McCulloch says, when are the bins due out, Derek? That is Tuesday, but don't worry, they get put out on Monday evening, Billy, so there won't be any disruption to Tuesday's show or anything like that. So that'll be sorted off air. Just
Derek, when you put your bins out, do you wait until somebody else in the street puts them out first so you know what the colour is? We've got a woman on the corner who does it on a Monday afternoon for the Tuesday. And I don't even know what our schedule is. I just wait until she puts them out and then put the same bins out. So I don't know if anybody else like me, Stevie.
Yeah, that's like us. I mean, every household in the UK is like a refuge centre these days with the amount of bins you've got in your back garden, isn't it? All different coloured bins. So we're the same. And sometimes if you put in a non-recyclable in the recycle bin and the bin men refuse to dump it in the lorry, that is heartbreaking stuff. Let us know your bin stories, folks. If you've had any nightmares with regards to putting the bins out, then do let us know. Right, just on the issue of heroes, lots of comments coming in. JE says, my 6-year-old has been obsessed with Alfredo, and as Stevie is saying, it was very organic towards him yesterday when I told him. He says, it was yesterday when I told my boy was leaving, he was distraught. Cantwell has become his new number one. And Kev Armstrong, who was the player leaving that upset you most as a kid? Laudrup or Ali for him? Who was it for you, Stevie? I'm trying to think back to the player I was gutted at leaving at the time. I think it was when Ian Durrant went to Everton. I was sort of confused at the time. I was thinking, what's going on here? I know it was just to sort of get game time and what have you. But I think Duncan Ferguson was another one I was gutted at seeing leaving. Anyone for you?
Gascoigne.
Yeah.
Gascoigne going. I remember there was rumours about Gascoigne leaving, and we played Dunfermline and beat them 7-0. And he scored a couple that day, and Negri got a couple and stuff like that. And then the rumours died down, and then obviously March come, and he did leave. So for me, at that age, I think Gascoigne left. I would be maybe about 13, 14, something like that. 97, 98 it was. So yeah, I was absolutely gutted, heartbroken. I was always Gascoigne. Before Laudrup, I was always Gascoigne.
Yeah,
I was very much a Gascoigne boy. By the time Brian came to leave, 10 in a row and stuff, and not winning the league and losing the Scottish and stuff, I think it was a wee bit like now, not as much, but there was a kind of, even at that early age for me as a Rangers fan, I was looking forward to Advocaat coming in and kind of changing things up. So Laudrup, no, McCoist in that obviously, but again, it was the end for them. Alberts, when he left with Tugai, was an upsetting one. I loved George a lot. He was an incredible.
Tugai was criminally underused. He should have been at Rangers for years.
Yeah, he was certainly a good player, but we had an incredible midfield as well. So You know, you look at that midfield, Gio and Barry Ferguson and stuff like that. So there was a whole lot in it. Interestingly, I've seen somebody mention Barry Ferguson. When Barry Ferguson left, I was a wee bit angry. Just the way that had all happened, the Champions League qualifier and everything, the way it all went about. I remember being at that age, Derek, where, you know, early 20s or whatever I was at that age, where you were just like, wants to go, let him go, you know, didn't need him anyway, blah, 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 blah. That was my reaction, you know. I think at that point, Arteta was making a lot of noise about being the main man and wanting to be the midfield general and stuff. So I was just basically like, well, if he wants to leave, let him leave. We'll just play Arteta. So it was that young kind of Gallus age where, you know, go if you want. But I don't feel that way. I was upset last night saying goodbye to the kind of players, but not, you know, not upset as in distraught tears and all that sort of stuff. I think it was a sad moment. But I don't feel distraught or anything for any of them leaving. I think we've lost a few favourites in there, absolutely. But I think it's right time for everyone. So that is weighed against my kind of feelings of upset.
Yeah, lots of different suggestions coming in. It's very interesting to see all different names being bandied about. Denzel says when Big DJ left, it was a sad day. I can imagine what a player he was for Rangers. Finn Fogel as well. Jim Forrest leaving, best goal scorer of his generation. So lots of comments. We also like a bit of comedy on the show, and Nuno Capuccio has been mentioned. So we like see, when he came, just on Capuccio, I mean, he was heralded at the time. I was for one very excited at seeing him arrive. Stevie, I thought it was a bit of a coup. Of course, former Porto, he won that UEFA Cup, of course, under Jose Mourinho, and he joined from a very successful Porto side. However, he had zero pace, and it never quite happened for him at Rangers, did it?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to.
Shall we move on?
My opinion on Capuccio. I remember one day being at Rugby Park and we won 3-2 under McLeish and he scored a really late winner, and talking myself into it on the journey way home that he could possibly be, that could re-energise him and really help him. But no, he was not good. Derek. Not good. Yeah, not good. Lots of comments coming in, incidentally. Just got harping back to last night. Denzel firstly raised, it's disappointed that Kent chose not to wear club colours for his final farewell. And William also says, what was Kent all about last night with that trackie on while everybody else had Rangers gear on? I've seen that social media, especially had blown up about his attire, Stevie. I've got to say, it never quite struck me until people started commenting and quite unhappy about what he was wearing. Should we read too much into that, do you reckon? Just as a guess, Derek, I maybe don't think he's going to be a Rangers player next season. Guess, you know. Look, I've got to be honest with you. Ryan Kent is a bit of a he's got his own style.
He's a bit of a maverick,
He's very much, you know, he's got his own. I remember hearing a story about him where, you know, the players like to listen to loud music and get themselves going and everything else, and he listens to, you know, murder documentaries on his earphones and stuff like that before he's going to games. So he's introverted. I think that's maybe fair. He's just different. So listen, I didn't get overly offended or worried about what he was wearing last night. You know, it's funny that Dave says that when he describes him as an enigma. That's the exact word I used this morning in the Rangers Review column. So I wasn't overly bothered. He had a wee bag on and stuff like that as well, Derek. So it's just his style, isn't it? I mean, listen, would it have been nice if he was wearing the trackie and stuff like that? Yes, it would. But you know what? See, at the end of the day, he's away. So I don't really, you know, I'm not going to waste my energy on worrying about stuff like that, Derek. So no, not a big deal for me. Like.
It'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
That tracksuit probably cost thousands of pounds as well. So you know what I mean.
I need to stop employing window cleaners if I'm going to afford one of those, I think. That's for sure. Just a quick word as well. Sad news last night when the game was getting played. Ian Thompson said, sad to see Tina Turner passing. Yeah, absolutely. 83 years of age, of course, synonymous with Rangers and simply the best. I seen a nice post from Shota Arveladze last night. paying tribute to her and saying that the song had such a big impact on him. And of course, he says that and many Rangers victories at Ibrox, of course, it was played out. Sad news, Stevie. I know 83 is a decent age, but sad nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in a big word here, Derek. And sometimes I say stuff on this show and I never know if it's the right word or that. So somebody can pick me up if it's not. But I think she's become synonymous with kind of your trips to Ibrox. And, Tina Turner's been playing since I was a boy.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a match day where maybe it hasn't been played. And I've been going now for the best part of nearly 30 years. So I certainly don't remember it not being played. And it's extremely sad news. She was iconic in the kind of music scene. Incredible life story, the things she overcame, and to go on and be as successful as she was. So, Simply the Best is an anthem that we've kind of, it's became a symbol of the club and stuff like that. So, sad news indeed, Derek.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a sad passing. Rest in peace, Tina. Right, folks, I think that'll do us there. Thanks to everyone for interacting with the show as ever. It's always greatly appreciated. Just a quick reminder, of course, this is the last day to take advantage of that website offer. We've got 2 offers ongoing at the moment. You can get exclusive access for an entire year to the Rangers Review website for just £12, so £1 a month. Not only that, if you enter the code Clifford10 when you go to subscribe, you'll get an extra 10% off. So just £10.80 for an entire year, which is incredible value. Head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe to sign up. We also have the £4 for 4 months offer. And remember, you'll also get entered into a draw for lunch for 3 on the 3rd of June with a club legend as well. So it really is a cracking deal. Stevie, you want to butt in here?
Yeah. Derek, before we go, ask me what I'm doing today, Derek.
What are you doing today?
I am going to referee at Ibrox Stadium.
Wow.
Yep. So that should be fun. We done it last year. So today, there's a couple of games going on throughout the day, but the big one today is at 2:30. It's not at 10:30, crazy. I'd be late. But it's at 2:30, and it's Scotland YouTubers. So that's led by our very own CJ Novo. He is the captain against an English YouTuber select. Now, let me just kind of read. I'm not. I don't understand.
Write off some of the names, Stevie. Let's see if we can identify any of them. We know who CG is, of course.
Yeah, so some of them, the list of them, I'll see if anyone recognised. Theo Baker.
You've played Ibrox before, is he not, in that Legends game?
Somebody called W2S. I don't know, Seb Sharkey. There's a few Arthur TV. But apparently, these guys have got hundreds of millions of YouTube followers and young kids know who they are and everything else. I'll tell you what, if anyone goes near CJ, they're getting booked straight away. So I'll be looking after my boy. But aside of that, it should be quite fun. It should be a good day. Getting to referee at Ibrox would be brilliant and a great thing. So really looking forward to that today, Derek. And I think, the sun's starting. I might need to get the old Factor 50 on the old bonds as well. So yeah. It should be a nice day. I'm really looking forward to Ibrox is a fantastic arena. To get out there on the grass is incredible. So might be a wee bit of a challenge for me, Derek, though. You know what I mean? It's a big pitch, and old Stevie's a bit cuddly these days. So we're going to see how that gets on.
That'll be absolutely terrific. I'm just surprised that Scotland never asked us to form the front line, Stevie, since we're massive YouTubers ourselves. So maybe that call will come next year.
I've heard a few people call me a tube, but I don't think it's YouTubers. So, I'll stick to the referee. And I think, Derek, all joking aside, I was never much of a footballer. Although I do have 4 goals for Cool Primary School in Primary 6 back in Fort William 4, and that helped us win the B Team League. So that's my claim to fame.
Yeah,
I'm still got the medal, Derek. Still got the medal. So some people just never get the break, mate.
Yeah, I know. What might have been? Is it on TV? I guess it'll be on YouTube at some point, Stevie. This game.
Aye, the boys film it, so this will be on I think CJ will have it on his site, and a lot of the boys that are watching will have it as well. I don't think it's live anywhere. I don't think, although there's a few boys wearing GoPros and stuff like that, so we'll see where it goes. I've got a few games today, so I'm looking forward to going to Ibrox and doing that. It should be really good. Are we on tomorrow, Derek? Is it me and you, or am I not on?
Me, you're more than welcome to come on, Stevie. I think, well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have Joshua making an appearance as well. But if you're free, then it would be a pleasure.
I'll let you know how it all goes tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. We're all intrigued to find out what goes in. Good luck to the Scottish YouTubers. Hopefully they do the business over their English counterparts. Right, okay, folks, I think that'll do. There another bumper show for you today. We'll be back again tomorrow, but until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Bye for now.